Hey guys, welcome to Stacking Pennies. Corley Joy here alongside Ryan Flores. And also, some awesome guests are joining us this week. Jon Wood, owner of Wood Brothers Racing, talking about his 101st win with Josh Berry Vegas a couple weeks ago, as well as Cleetus McFarland, the YouTube sensation, throwing his yearly huge Crown Vic race, the Freedom 500, that I'll be participating in. All that and a little bit of breakdown of the paperclip coming up right here on Stacking Pennies.
Stacking them deep, selling them cheap.
It tastes like gasoline, rubber, and victory.
We're just out here stacking pennies.
And we're in it. What's up, guys? A little bit of paperclip action coming to you. Corley Joy here alongside Ryan Flores, but special guest right here in Noncents Garage, owner of the Cup team that just won their 101st Cup Series victory with Josh Berry. Jon Wood joins us in the Noncents Garage. Welcome, buddy.
El Presidente.
El Presidente.
Why are you smirking, John?
I've been looking forward to this for a long time.
Well, I've been looking forward to it too since I listened to you on Door Bumper Clip. Well, you've got a lot of pent up aggression towards Flores that I'm trying to
There's
get
a lot
out
of
to.
plane rides that he's going to get to the bottom of here.
Well, I can't wait for all of our listeners to hear that. But when I heard you on Door Bumper Clear, I'm like, we've got to get John on the show. He was freaking hilarious. I don't even know what
the first
you're
thing the first thing he said, he made fun of us.
Yeah, that's
he said
fine.
that was a real man's podcast.
There's no such thing as negative press.
Yeah.
Well, welcome.
Thank you.
What do you think about the studio, first off?
Well, how does the saying go? Where the mustard's made, or what's the saying?
I don't know what I don't know what kind of Stewart, Virginia.
I
don't know what kind of Stewart, Virginia.
Okay. This is supposed to be friendly with you and me. This dude's a dick, but it's supposed to be friendly.
We'll
with
team
me.
up on him in a second. Well, first off, congrats on Vegas.
Thank
man.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You had your dogs there, I saw.
I did. I got them today.
Did you?
Yeah, in a backpack.
Are you kidding me?
Nope.
Pull him out.
I've been here for 15 minutes. I didn't know we had dogs here.
Well, if you would have went out to his car, they in the car, and then he threw it at me, and I stepped in it. So this is
what a treat this is.
So
what are their names?
This is
Muffin and Pound Cake.
Yeah, this is Brody, and this is
Kale
Odin.
and Morgan.
And so the funny thing about the dogs, so we went to, obviously we're at Vegas, and my wife is a general manager at a bar in uptown Charlotte, and that weekend was St. Patrick's Day, so she slammed, so she couldn't keep the dogs, so I had to take them with me to Vegas of all places. So I'm smuggling them through the casino, and like they're in the backpack at restaurants, just like you'd never know they were there.
Yeah.
So we get to the racetrack, and I'm like, what am I going to do now? Because this race lasts all day. I got to leave them in the van. I'm not going to take them in the garage, because I did that last year. They took a dump, and Jeremy, of all people, had to clean it up out.
Jeremy
of the hallway.
Bowens?
Yeah, Jeremy.
He doesn't like that stuff.
No.
That's why I went to Roush.
Of all people to have to pick up dog turds, it was Jeremy. So I left them in the rental van, and in between stages, I run out to check on them, take them to pee, and there was like a neat little section of sod that somebody had put out for dogs to pee in. So I go out there after into stage 2, and I can smell it. I can smell poop in the van, and I'm like, where is this? So I find it in the very back, and all I could find was a receipt to pick it up. There's a paper receipt. So I reach over to pick the turds up, and the key fob was in my shirt pocket. It falls out, lands on the turd, which smushed it into the seatbelt buckle. And this is during
God.
right at the end of the stage. So Josh is running 5th or whatever it is. I'm in the bathroom rinsing dog poop off of the key fob, and all hell's breaking loose. So the end of the race, crazy enough, I'm staying in Victor Lane. I'm like, damn, my dogs are in the van. I gotta go do something about it. So Taylor said, quick, go get them, and you can take them to the media center or whatever it is. So I threw them in the backpack, and that's why I had them with me.
Well, at least that was the low light of the day, because the highlight of the day was pretty damn good.
Yeah.
At what point in time does it sink in, like, we might win this son of a-
Why don't you take one of these? One of y'all.
I don't want to break it.
I didn't think I mean, it never. You know how these races go. Like they're snatched from you at the last second. Like you think everything's going great.
Caution comes out.
2 to go, 1 to go.
He can scope it out. No, he can scope it out.
fine.
It's all good. Ain't nothing gonna hurt him.
He's got to go take a dump. I'm sure it's cool here.
That's fine.
That's right. Sean will clean it up.
So so I'm waiting. I mean, he obviously did an amazing job, but I'm just waiting on the
caution
shoe
coming.
to drop. Yeah, and it didn't. And it's such a strange when you go this long without wins and you struggle the way we have. It's almost like out of body experience, like the whole victory lane thing, and you're there but you're not there, like mentally. I don't really know how to explain it. So it was neat.
Well, you chase it so long. Your dad talked about it, how long you guys been around and just staying at it, right? Going part-time. You drove the car for a little while. We were just talking about how you had to go get Bill Elliott to even get in the race for past champions provisional. But then you chase it for so long and then you win, right? It doesn't change much when you win. Like, life's still the same. It's a financial and just to build your team, but emotionally it's like, oh, okay, hey, we did this. And you guys are level-headed enough to where it's not like some sort of crazy celebration in victory lane.
Because they've been there before 101 times. But it's been a minute.
But it's way different now.
Yeah. Oh, it is.
The thing that's different now from the 99 other times is you go from making nothing in prize money to something, and that to a single car team that matters. And you know, we don't have airplanes, we don't have motorhomes, we don't, like, there's no cushion there. It's either perform and make ends meet or we're in bad shape.
Yeah.
And so I caught a bunch of crap from, it was a very small minority of people, but I mentioned that whenever Harrison won at Daytona, I think it was Lee Spencer asked about it, and she's like, what's the biggest part of this? And I said, well, the money. And I didn't mean, oh, we get to go buy an airplane. It's like, this is financial security for us to know that we're going to be able to continue.
Yeah.
And that makes a difference.
How much is several millions probably?
Yeah, over the course of a couple of years, it's in the millions.
Because of the charter agreement, right? That's why that's the strength of the charter agreement, right?
Yep.
I mean, you hear the bad stuff, right? It's piled on the bad stuff, lawsuits, yada yada, but that's the good side. Is like a team like yours that hasn't won, they finally do win, and you see the upside potential of that.
Our budget is set up to an average finish of about 20th, and we didn't have that last year. We didn't have that the year before, and so it drops off substantially from 20th to 30th, and that's about where we were. Was 30th. We had a really bad Daytona 500, and probably 10% of the total year prize money comes from Daytona. You know that. You experienced it a month ago.
Mm-hmm.
You finished good at Daytona, you're set.
Hell yeah.
And we didn't do that. So we were upside down for most of the season. So that was a big deal to win that second Daytona race and then know. And it wasn't just that win. It was because if you think about it, you win a race 3 races later, when the playoffs have started, it's nothing. You know, it's a win, but the money part doesn't change because you're now
historically
right. Like
yeah.
you're not in the playoffs.
Well, before we get down that too much, I wanted to rewind a little bit because your driving career fascinated me a little bit. At what point in time were you like, you know what, maybe driving one of these things? Like, did the fire stop burning, or was it like, you know what, I'm gonna start transitioning to the ownership side or the track or the team ownership side?
I think mine probably followed yours in a lot of ways. Like you don't really know where you're going to be from season to season,
mm-hmm.
and eventually you're presented with a fork in the road where you say, do I go this way or do I go this way? My fork was, do I stop driving or do I do start and park? And I wasn't like, because back during those times it was start and park, and like there's no future in that.
No.
If you have another option.
Shout out McDowell though, he was the one.
Well, there's a minority. He is
only
in the
one.
minority.
There's only one.
And yeah, and so I wasn't going to do that. And it was a very competitive time. There were a lot of guys that brought money that were able to buy rides, and there were a lot of teams that were failing.
Mm-hmm.
Ours was one of them, and luckily we didn't fail. And I'm still here to have a job and a position. And my dad and my uncle, they were patient enough to know, because I mean I was in a place like right after 2008 ended. It was very, very, very difficult. Like I was a little bit bitter, a little bit angry. Like, you know, I know I can do this. I just know I can. You know that.
Oh yeah.
But the pieces just aren't there, and it's not something where you can take time off and then go back and do it. You either, that train's either rolling or it derails, and mine derailed. And so for a couple of years I struggled to find a place, didn't really do a lot, and then just woke up one day in 2000. It could have been when I met at the time she was my baby mama, but she became my wife. But that could have had something to do with
The order
it.
doesn't necessarily matter.
Yeah, it happened, and I became serious about it, and grew up a little overnight, and it's been working. And slowly, it's taken a long time for my dad and Lynn to trust me with some of the decision making, but I think they do now, and so it's working.
What are some of the day-to-day big decisions that you have to make that a lot of people just don't anticipate people making, right? Because you generally, we talk to drivers on here all the time. What are even some decisions drivers don't know that team presidents have to make to keep further and pushing the ball down the field?
I don't know that there's any single decision. The past month has been really busy for all of us, really, and it comes on the heels of the win. But I also, the way our race team works, we don't delegate responsibility according to title. So like my sister does marketing, she's the CMO, but she may also be helping in the museum on Martinsville weekends selling stuff. Mm-hmm. So we all just kind of chip in and do what needs to get done. And this has been a really busy time because we did the throwback for Darlington, which is another really, really neat special thing that we're doing.
That thing's sweet.
But that couldn't come at a worse time, because it's like we win Vegas on Sunday. Thursday is when we unveil the Darlington car, and it was just a really, really busy week.
Dude,
So
I saw a lot of the Vegas, like the blackjack shirts that you guys made. I saw a lot of them this weekend. Like, I heard that the shipping department there, which is just you and a couple people up in the store.
Peggy, yeah.
I heard that it's just boxes and boxes. I saw Andretti at SRI, who's a longtime player. He said he brought 3 truckloads to the post office last week.
You go from averaging 5 orders a day to averaging 500 a day. You don't have the capacity. You know, we know how to do it because it was busy with Blaney. It was busy with Matty D. But you scale it back when the demand's not there, and then it happens like that, and you don't know how to keep up.
I wondered, so you've been through 5 drivers in the last 10 years, right? So I wondered, like, how, and then you settle on Josh Berry, which was just there was a lot going on last year with Chase and figuring out all the guys. It was a unique situation because you guys were looking for a driver. There was a organization with 4 drivers shutting down, but you made the comment after you guys signed Josh that he was kind of the one that you wanted all along. So did you see this upside potential in him from the get-go?
I've replayed this question and because I know that it was discussed on here whenever Chase took the 19. And I've wondered for a while how I would handle that question. And I'm going to take the high road. And we got the guy that we wanted all along. The way it worked out, I think Chase got the car that he wanted, but we absolutely got the guy that we wanted. There are certain steps and boxes we had to check along the way. You know, Ford had a lot invested in Chase. But if you look at the performance and the way that Josh was clicking off, you know, qualifying positions and running up front in a team that had announced that they're folding, you know, there was, and he just fits us better.
Did you ever look at
I would agree with
his late model stuff or his grittiness from that? Does that even come into an account when you're picking a driver, or is he just Cup stats and Xfinity stats?
I was surprised in the stat because it's been like a flurry of stats, and most of them are like so depressing.
Yeah.
First time Wood Brothers has done this since 1905 or whatever it is. It's terrible. But
the numbers can beat you down, dude.
Yeah, it's been rough. It's been great, but it's been rough. I was surprised at the stat that no other national champion.
Yes.
What is that again?
No other NASCAR Regional Series champion.
Yeah, something like that.
Regional
National
Series.
Series
Has even won a Cup race.
Has won a Cup race.
Has won a. So that I was shocked at that one.
Yeah.
Like that one was surprising. Josh just fits our way of doing things. Like no drama, no like let's go and go to this boat dealership and
buy an airplane.
Like that crap. Like he's and when we talked about it last week, and he says, I don't like a lot of drama. I know guys that have boat endorsements and this endorsement and that. I don't want to owe anybody anything. Like I just want to
go race.
Yeah, like buy my own stuff and not owe anybody. And like that, I appreciate that. It's just go race and get it done with.
That could come from a little bit of the old school short track mentality. I mean, he chased that for 10 years, had to build his own stuff. Obviously, he had Dale Jr.'s backing, but it seems like he's grounded. I saw the story come out that he was a banker. But yeah, I mean,
I don't know about that one either. The banker.
I think he volunteered on the weekends or something to get.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, like it was
he's
high
your
school.
driver, man. You got to ask him.
You don't know his biography?
Our lie, tell it how we want. Is that how it goes? I don't know that. I just know that he pushed back on that whole banker thing a little bit.
So we always watch clips on here, and I was interested when and I'm happy this is the first one, but I was interested watching the end of the Xfinity race as a guy that's had to pick drivers in the position you're in. So when we watch the end of this race, right, and you see the state, you're a guy that's raced in the Truck Series, won races in the Truck Series, driven. When you see this type of stuff happen, I just wonder what it's like from your opinion as a guy that has to hire drivers. Like, does this tarnish?
I wouldn't hire any of those.
You wouldn't?
I don't think so. I mean,
there's also several drivers in those first 4 rows that Cup teams have the option to hire every year that have a substantial amount of money that they still decide no.
It just doesn't do.
I think what it is a lot of those guys, they know that that's their ride, whether they wad it up or not.
Yeah.
Like that, I bought that thing. It's mine.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
If the motor ends up in the stands, not my problem.
No, I'll drive it next week.
And it's not. I mean, that mentality comes from just that, right? Like, it's like a spoiled kid, right? If you spoil your kid and they act like a brat, they're gonna act like a brat.
I'm not me calling somebody spoiled. Like, I mean, I've had a really privileged life, and I'm not. Like, that's pot calling a kettle black. But I did grow up at some point.
Correct.
And so I think I'm allowed to.
What would the conversation have been like if you did this with your dad and your uncles?
I mean, I did some dumb myself. But like, I admitted it, and I knew it was stupid. And I think saying, well, I'd have done it again the same way, I probably would have handled it a little differently.
Yeah.
I know what would happen if I rode up to Martinsville with my dad and I did that, I would be hitchhiking my ass back home.
Now, at the end of the race, he tried to justify it by saying that Taylor was flipping him off under caution, under red, but I don't know. I don't mean, like, I guess when I said spoiled, right, I would say, like, when I spoil my kids, that's how I expect them to act. But when I'm tough on them, right, they don't act that way. I'm not saying that these kids are all spoiled, but
I think the collateral damage, Joe, with your kid, they just spill the cereal over when they get mad, as opposed to wrecking millions of dollars worth of race.
To your point, did you feel, even when you were driving for your family's team, that you could be fired?
Yeah.
Because I think you make a great point that I don't think, since they're paying for the ride, they feel like they can be fired.
Yeah. I mean, I felt it more with my family than I did when I drove for Roush Fenway. Like, it wasn't. But I think also the difference was I knew when I got in that truck, especially when they moved the shop from Livonia to Mooresville, it was like the 2003 season. Like, it was easy. Like, I on a bad day, we'd qualify 5th. When you're struggling, you're missing races. That's when when you share some of the blame. And I don't think I could have done anything any differently. Like, I think, well, I could have been more serious, but I don't think it would have necessarily made the car faster at any given point in time. I would have known more. I would have had a little bit more respect from everybody, but I don't think it would have translated into qualifying positions, and I think we still would have missed races.
You said the word that I wanted to touch on is respect, right? Because there was a I forgot exactly who said it. Was it Boyer? Boyer said it maybe in the broadcast about respect, and I was like, you know what? I don't think that's a subjective term anymore. That's an opinion. Like, everybody's version of respect is different, because you just said it there. It's especially on Sundays anymore. When you go The only respect that you're looking to get is your own crew and your own team. That's the only thing that it seems the progression and the evolution of the Cup Series, especially with the quote-unquote etiquette, is there is no respect because the only thing that you have to answer to is your boss and your sponsors. You don't have to answer. If I run into you, I don't care. If it's to get me to the next spot, if it happens to get me a win, the reward is much bigger than what the penalty might be.
Is it
nowadays?
So you drove Cup cars in 2005, 2006 when those old school guys were there. Was there a little bit more of like, you don't want Terry Labonte coming to yell at you than there is of like?
I remember getting my ass ripped by Kyle Petty. My first Cup race was at Vegas, and I raced him all day long. I mean, it was a struggle, and he was struggling too. But I guess I raced him. I don't know in my mind, I was just racing hard. But I think in the Cup world, it was, if you're faster than me, I'll let you go. If I'm faster than you, you let me go when we're running 25th. And that's about what was happening. And after the race, he gave me a hard time, and I was ashamed because coming from Kyle Petty, like I looked up to him, still do, but like that was more powerful than somebody coming over and being mad because I wrecked them for a win or like that hurt that one.
There's a higher standard for situational awareness in the Cup Series, and the bar of that continues to get lower and lower with guys that come in that have no situational awareness for what to do, when to do it, why you even do things. It's just 10-10s all the time.
But the old school guys, from what I understand, the Mark Martins of the garage, were the ones that policed that. They were the ones like that you had to have a conversation with. Now it seems like when Kyle Busch goes and has a conversation with Carson Hocevar just rolls his eyes because he's seen his clips on YouTube and he doesn't care who he is now. He sees who he was when he was making all those mistakes. He's like, you did the same thing, dude. Like, flip him off, keep going. Yeah. So I wonder if it's just twofold, right? Like they don't have the respect that guys had for the Mark Martins of the day. Is it do the current Cup drivers and the current veterans of the sport need to get their hands on that, or is it just not going to happen?
I think there's more. So like this doesn't answer your question, but it's something that I've observed the past couple of weeks. It's like we have SMT now, so you can watch lap by lap what's happening. And I got into the mindset of seeing how guys raced Harrison, and then I see how they raced Josh, and it's different. It's totally different. He's new, so what has he done differently than what Harrison did besides just run up front? Do they respect Josh more?
Is it because he's older? Right?
I have no, but it's obvious. It's you just watch the way other guys like before.
I got a theory.
Did you race Harrison different than you raced Josh?
Yes, because not my theory. I think there's
just John thinks you're.
No, I
just
don't.
Kidding.
Like,
I'm just joking.
When we talked to Chase, he mentioned something too. He said, a lot of us are not afraid to put Harrison in a bad position
because he's going to lift.
Maybe.
And the Cup Series is the Shark Tank. And as soon as, no matter who it is, if there's blood in the water, you get it.
But they're both so like I can't. If you ask me to pick one or the other on which one's more respectful or likable, they're equally the same.
Absolutely.
So it's not that.
Absolutely.
It's got nothing to do with Harrison as a person.
No.
Right.
No.
But it's the same thing. Like Joe Logano's a completely different person when he puts his helmet on. Right. So you have to transform. Harrison as a person is one of the best people I've ever met in a garage. Right. But did he have the respect from the competitors when he drove is the question, I guess.
Well, then it starts to snowball too of self-doubt and self-confidence, and that creeps in, right? Then you inherently guys are racing you worse, putting you in worse spots, and then you don't want to crash the car because somebody puts you in a bad spot, jams it on your left rear, and then it just continues to nosedive, and you don't even know how to right the ship.
So the extreme other side of that is Hocevar, right? We have Boucher and Hocevar. I haven't seen this one yet, but He's 10. This is the guy that's 10-10 all the time right now.
We were the victim of one of those right rear hooks too. Ours, neatly enough, was under caution last year. Yeah, that was a fun time.
Mm.
But this is exactly the situations that like he's barely there.
He's barely
and he doesn't
there,
give
and he
the 17
parks it.
any.
He's not there right now. and barely sticks it in there. So the 17
And he
was
kept
clear.
going. He could have lifted at any point,
Yeah.
right? And this is the stuff where everybody keeps going, he's going to learn. He's got to learn. But I guess
Nobody's
my
teaching
question
him.
is, who's going to teach him?
I don't think
There's
it's-
nobody to teach him.
Yeah, that ship sailed.
Yeah. Well, everybody wants to key the button up and call them names, but nobody gets out and does anything about it. And also, they want to break it up. We got 14 people standing between Taylor Gray and Sammy Smith the other night. Let them go. Let them talk.
So, great question here. Higgy has written down, and you have your pulse on the sport probably better than anybody. Should there be penalties for like the stuff that happened in the Xfinity race, or should NASCAR stay out of it in situations like this, right? Like, do we have to get to a point where you have F1 style penalties for situations, or do you just let them keep going and wrecking each other? Like, are we our own thing where it's kind of still boys have at it?
I think it's a respect thing, and I don't think any number of penalties short of kicking you out for good or
It might deter it a little bit.
So more government's not going to help in this situation.
I mean, that's a subjective answer or question. Everybody's got a different opinion on that one.
What's yours?
Yeah.
It hasn't changed him, has it?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm
It's worked out for him, though, for most of the time for the
yeah.
better.
I mean, he's
So why would he stop?
yeah, right. Like he's running up front, qualifying up front.
Making people lift, putting them in
it's
back.
one of those-
Why change?
It's one of those things, if you're working somewhere and the guy's clocking in late all the time, you're inherently going to start clocking in late all the time too, because he got away with it. Why can't I, right? So I don't know how you police it. And I don't know if it's NASCAR's job to police it or if the coach lot has to police it.
I think we're talking about two separate things. If we're talking about Hocevar versus the last lap antics.
But it's all the same, because Hocevar comes from that same. You think if Carson Hocevar is running second and someone moved him, he's not doing the same thing Sammy Smith just did on the last lap of Martinsville?
For sure.
For a cup win?
Yeah.
Like, so it's the same mentality of driving. I hate to harp on it, but I just read Higgy's question and I was like, it's a great question.
I think, my opinion, I think it's a 10-second addition after the race. That's my opinion. It puts you last car in lead lap.
John's looking at me like he don't want to talk about this.
I'm just trying to replay everything in my head and think, have I said anything I shouldn't have said? Because like I'm so bad about that. Just
Not yet. Give us something though. I want to get a good social media clip out of it.
Yeah.
So let's progress just to the race on Sunday. It seemed like you guys just ran out of batteries.
You guys
Double
had-
A,
and you got
like
a
an
great-
RC track.
Yeah.
A great car. Like, where were you guys leading?
Yeah.
They stayed out after that lap 35 yellow, got the track position, and had that 21 car in the wind. Did you win the stage?
No, because neatly enough, this is what really sucks. So that battery failed at, call it 3:45. I don't know what time, but like it failed at a certain time, not a number of laps. So had that last caution not come out with 9 to go, we would have at least come away with 10 stage points and a playoff point. The end result was going to be the same.
Right. But at least you had something to point
Yeah,
your-
we'd have had a cushion and a
playoff point.
Now that matters, the playoff point.
Oh, yeah. Well, and it's simultaneous that you got hit in the door leaving and the
Right.
battery dies, right?
Right.
And that's the thing. Is like you think, like, okay, what did it shake loose? Oh, no, the battery just died at the same time. It was just a coincidence.
And you don't have to neither confirm nor deny this, but a lot of the times teams go overboard with making the lightweight, latest and greatest low CG stuff from Martinsville because that's the stuff that moves the needle. Get your CG down, get more ballast low in the rails. So my assumption is that there was some sort of lightweight R&D alternator, and it couldn't keep up with the amp draw. Cool shirts, had a lot of cool shirts fail, and had a lot of, obviously you have multiple caliper blowers, multiple brake blowers. And then when that can't keep up, then you have to keep putting new batteries
There's
in.
more.
And we saw that with the 2 as well as the 21.
There's more electrical load on on these cars in Martinsville. So I don't know, right?
It's not coincidence.
Changing
that
front.
two-
I get changing front.
Penske
They don't
cars.
tell the front tire changer what kind of load they got going or
That's
anything about the alternator.
That's
so
not in the purview of the Wood Brothers team president to know, to confirm or deny. He's just
That's just my assumption.
Just an old dumbass right now. He doesn't know one way or the other.
So the 2,
I can't believe
if
they
you guys
put
would have had
Andrew
10
Lackey on the
batteries there
front
like
of the
RC
car.
car race, you could have finished the race, but you legitimately ran out.
Like if I'm replaying everything we did, the only mistake that we made was pitting So we knew that we needed to change the battery. Caution comes out. We're at the tail end of the field. We came down pit road at the tail end of the field rather than wait to cycle to behind the pace car
Get some more
to
time.
give us time. And we ended up, we would have stayed on the lead lap, or we would have gotten back on the lead lap had that not happened. But how often do you practice for a battery failure at Martinsville of all places? All this crap's going on. You got 8 radios. Miles has 4, 5, 6 radio. Like I'd go nuts.
Well, just lay that out. So, intercom with the team.
Channel 1, Channel 2 with spotter.
Yep.
Pit crew.
War room.
NASCAR.
NASCAR. We already said our intercom, right? Okay. Then he's got one, I think, with competition director only.
Yeah, but that's like a red button.
Yeah, like
they don't talk on that one unless something
right,
happens.
unless something's going on. But I mean, it's wires everywhere. It looks like he's
a lot.
Octopus.
hooked up to a ventilator. Like, I mean, it's crap all over. So I wouldn't have known what to.
Yeah. Wow.
He's done an amazing job. That, like, I'm just saying, I'm not faulting him for picking that time.
But now you know.
No.
Looking
Yeah.
back, maybe we'll know next
But
time.
that's the job of, I mean, that's a little bit of everybody's job, is to step back and go, okay, we had a big failure. Like, I had a cross-threaded nut at Vegas, right? It took me 30 seconds to fix. And you just take a step back and go, okay, that sucked. What could I have done better to cut that down by half, right? That's what we all do whenever there's a...
Is that the not my fault?
No, that's
Hands
just
up.
like, okay. No, that's like, see it with clear eyes. I assure you, I do not tell anybody that something's not my fault. It's always my fault.
Like being here at 10 o'clock versus 11:30. That.
All right, so you got... Here's the problem that John and I have. I know he wanted to get to this.
Mm-hmm.
On the plane... We fly a lot together. John flies with us.
Let me show you
And
something.
Let
me show you something.
We
My
have
phone.
a gas man, Andrew Lackey, who's a mutual friend that we're in a group chat with. Andrew Lackey's been on our car with me for 10, 11 years.
So this is Ryan's way of coming up with an excuse before he's called out.
He's
But
mad that I
that's-
talked to Joey on the
That's
plane.
Joey
the other day.
Logano in row 5. Okay, Tom is right over here to his left. That's Ryan Flores, basically in Joey's lap.
I was
Okay?
talking to Tom most of the flight, just so you know.
Doing this,
Cup champ,
like
man.
the whole from.
Three
None of
times.
us could sleep. I mean, it's midnight or whatever. And like we're trying, and all you can hear.
John
like
comes on.
Flores running his mouth.
But here's the problem. This
I
is why
love you,
John is
Joey.
salty.
Like it's just.
This is why John's so salty, because John and Andrew Lackey. and-
What if I
and
said this wrong?
We'll
What
get
if I
this-
said
we'll
this
get
not
this. I'm
true?
going to tell you why I match energy and why I'm so aggressive when I get on the plane all the time. If you never flown a NASCAR team, I'm gonna pull the curtain back for Louis. The races are over.
I'm
You
gonna
get to the
pull- I'm
plane.
gonna pull the curtain back, too.
Everybody's fighting for a seat on the plane. John Wood and Andrew Lackey and the 2 team have water bottles, their left shoe, a backpack, and every seat is saved in the front of this plane. So you get on there, and when I see them pulling shenanigans like this, I can't help
Right here
but
it
be a
is.
smartass.
6:59 p.m. Sunday, March 16th. Save me a seat, please.
Right
Please.
after you won Vegas.
His response at 7:19, so he waits 20 minutes. You never saved me a seat.
That's
Okay.
it.
What
So
a
I
dick.
get on the plane, and it's the last 2. So I got my dogs.
So no, we get
Crap
on the plane
everywhere, 'cause
after
we've been-
Vegas after you win, and there's a sign on the seat that says John Wood. It's saved for you. So I'm like, okay.
You know it's me and my dad. You know it, and Brody and Odin. And so it's all 4 of us.
I figured that I didn't get to the back. I figured they had Lynn and Eddie saved in the back where they always
Just
sit.
stop. I mean, just stop.
So he rushes to get to the plane. He said he broke every traffic law in Las Vegas. He gets there and the plane's broke down.
Oh no.
So now he's just mad. He's got these dogs. He's pissed off. They won the race, right? Made millions of dollars. And he's mad at me about
Can't
a
go home.
seat on a plane, on a private plane.
Yeah.
Like, damn it. What is going on?
It was broke.
It was.
And yeah, that I'm.
Did you get back?
We got back.
We landed. We made it.
We made it.
Okay, good.
But this is where John has been wanting to come on here, and his aggression, this is where his aggression comes from, is the plane rides. So
I want to talk about too. Sorry to derail this.
I just
Plane
say
love
no,
fest.
it's fine.
About NASCAR charters and just how bullish you are and how much they do for a team such as yours, teams such as a Rick Ware, that ultimately gives the teams something inherently of value because it creates demand.
If you'd asked me about the charters in 2019 or 20, I would have said they suck. I hate them. They're awful.
Because they didn't give you one to
We
start,
didn't get
right?
one. We didn't get one. Newsflash. But we bought one the hard way. Me, my Aunt Kim, my dad, Lynn, Kevin, and Jordan, the 6 of us, we collectively paid for that thing. And so we
Single digit millions.
What does that mean? Like
Just
between
7
1 and
figures,
9?
not 8.
Just
Yes.
seven
We
figures.
got it at the right time, like before the bottom fell out or the roof
Pop
fell out,
off.
whatever however you say it. So we got it at the right time, but we still bought it and we earned it, and so it has a more better feeling because I feel like we got it the hard way, and so now I look at it with a completely different perspective. I knew all along you had to have it. I just hated it because we didn't have one, and so now, and I don't really fault anybody. Like they had to draw the line somewhere and say, this is how you're going to get one, this is how you're not going to get one, and we were part-time. I mean, maybe it's our own fault. Doesn't change the fact that it sucked, but
Yeah.
But now
what it
there's only
was.
36.
So fast forward now to 2025, how do you feel about them?
I think they're a critical component to making it in this business.
Yeah.
And if you don't have it, you're not going to make it.
Yep.
And if we didn't, our whole 75 years has been completely about luck. So a lot of it's been great decisions and good people treating people right, but a lot of it also has been absolute total luck. My grandpa's car, they're pulling it back from like their first race, and a wheel bearing burns up and it catches on fire, burns to the ground. He had a choice. Let's keep playing or let's not keep playing. It's like, I kind of had fun. Let's try it again. Had he said, well, it's a little bit too much work for me, or not had fun that day, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you. You'd be here because you're you, such a great big deal. But I wouldn't be here, and I'd be doing something else. And so, a lot of this has been total luck. And I forgot what the question was.
No, just
Yeah,
about
the
the
long
charter,
term.
but I think it goes twofold, right? The way that you guys treat people and the way you handle your business makes you luckier, right?
For sure.
It's like the old adage: the harder you work, the luckier I get. So I think it goes twofold, and I think it sets a precedence for. I know, like when I'm at pit practice with the 21 guys, right? I feel because of what we've done and what your team is, like I feel kind of an obligation to help them and to help that team, and I think everybody.
I know why, because you were on our pit crew for the 99th
I single-handedly
win,
won it.
and you did because you left a wheel loose.
Yes, and I put us on a strategy that
Wow.
won.
And how, so
There's a
Flores knew.
I never got a bonus for that either. so you
Flores
just
knew
shoot it
going
over.
into this race. Skip,
Whatever you want to call me.
Knew going into this race that if he left a wheel loose, it would put us on a different strategy, and we would ultimately win. So
Yeah,
that's
had
what
it
he did.
calculated.
Nostradamus.
Exactly.
Wow.
Well, there you have it.
Unbelievable.
Single-handedly, I won 99. Pocono, let's go.
Didn't work for the other times you left the wheels loose, though.
Did not. That's the only one.
I could sit here and talk all day.
This is going exactly like I hoped it would.
I could sit here and talk with John all day too. I think there's a lot of knowledge from John. I think
And
we
I
need to have
wish-
John on. John might have to be a frequent guest. Whenever we
I
have
would love-
team stuff, you could be our.
You want to be our what's the guy on Pat McAfee that breaks all the news?
Yeah, the Colts guy.
No.
Oh, I don't know. Anyway,
Adam Schefter.
Schefter. I think you should be a frequent guest on here.
Right now, he's not really convinced. We're gonna have to work on him a bit more. But
It's a dog-friendly zone.
Yes,
It is. I mean, no. Yeah, you guys have been they were running around a minute
they
ago.
can take a dump. They can
sniffing
take a
the
dump wherever
cameras
they
and-
want to.
Listen,
They will take a dump.
These floors are sealed. They clean right up.
That's right. I got 3 questions for you though before you leave. If you had to pick one kind of race car and one racetrack to race at the rest of your life, what do you race?
Is this like something you ask everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for listening to the show.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in.
That's a tough one.
It's
I
not-
like. I mean, it's cliche. I'm gonna say Martinsville,
Yeah.
but I like that because I can scroll through my Facebook and people that I went to high school with, people that I know from Stewart, they're in the stands. They've got on Josh Berry or Wood Brothers stuff. We don't see that a lot. Like most racetracks you go to, it's 9, 5,
Yeah.
23, some Denny stuff, I guess. It's never ours. And
11
it's,
against the world.
It's it's different at Martinsville Clay
It's a
Campbell.
home race, dude. It's home
Yep.
team.
You know, there's nothing about that place that I don't like. And yeah,
What would
So
you
what
drive
car?
there?
probably a truck. The
The
truck
50
racing
truck.
I would, because that thing was on a rail that day. But no, I feel like the truck racing is a balance of aggression but respect. It isn't what you saw with the Xfinity race. Like those guys, they'll wreck you for a win, but they're not. They're going to say, "Well, I did that because I needed to do it to further my career," instead of he shot me the middle finger, and so I
Yeah.
wanted to do it back.
I have another theory too about steel body cars don't allow you to do this so much as composites cars. But that's another story for another day. Question number 2: what's the most embarrassed you've ever been at the racetrack? Open-ended, driving, owning, hanging out.
I don't know. I mean, because like I said, I've done some really stupid stuff.
Same.
I'm not really sure on that one. I take that back. So I started like 7th in an Xfinity race. It was Busch at the time, or Nationwide or something, at Texas. And I hadn't quite learned yet to take my time. Like it was still early. So I make it 3 wide through the tri-oval, or maybe 4 wide even, on like lap 1.
Yes.
And
Going to the front.
yeah, and like I wipe out a lot of people, but one of those people was David Green. And I felt pretty bad about that because of all the people. Like, why couldn't it take out somebody I didn't like? But it was David Green of all people. And I walked up.
Does he still remember that?
This is.
Give
I'm
you a
sure
tough time
I
going
can't
through tech now?
imagine he doesn't. But we don't talk about it. But the crazy part was I walk up like the next week, maybe the driver's meeting or somewhere, and he's got his back to me. McMurray, he's talking to Jamie McMurray. They both don't see me walking up, and they're talking shit about me causing that wreck the week before. It's like,
no.
hey guys,
Yeah. Here I am.
Yeah. So that
You left me
was
out.
bad.
Make it turn red for
Oh
sure.
man, it's happened to all of us. Definitely happened to all of us.
I'm excited for this third question because you've had a lot of memories.
Yep. So whether it's racing, whether it's owning, whatever it is, if I had like the Men in Black pen and I could zap all your memories and you only had to keep one, what do you keep?
Another cliche moment. Being at Vegas and it just being my dad there. That was a neat one. Like, because like we have this weird, our family does, like this weird dynamic where you don't say like I love you. We don't do that. It's implied.
You're
but we don't-
racers.
Yeah, like you just
Yes.
don't like, because like
it's
my
like
wife.
you gotta earn the love.
Yeah, my wife's like, why you can't, like, you're leaving, or Riley's going to school. You can't tell him you love him. Love you, Riley. Like,
Yeah.
And, I mean,
Yeah,
and
it hurts to say.
Yeah, like you did, but you do, but you
Yeah.
just can't say it. But that, like, being on the pit box with him when that happened, that was a really powerful thing, and so probably that moment. And again, I know that's like nerdy or whatever.
No, it's not.
It's not.
That's real.
And he was the only one there. Like Lynn had to stay back home, so it was a little bit more focused on the two of us, both at that moment and in the media center. But that was it.
Was it like a we did it? Was it like elation or relief? What was it?
The relief race was Daytona. We're in a good spot now.
Yeah.
Moment was Vegas.
Yeah.
Like we've made some good decisions.
There's
And
a difference between
they're working.
winning super speedways and winning a place like Vegas, right? Like you have now you have a strong team and all the pieces are in place.
And the pits, like it wasn't just a freak stay out, and like the pit stops were solid.
Yep.
Everything was top, not like contender
Yeah, you went and won it.
level.
No, you won this deal for real. Yeah,
Well,
that's awesome.
you guys deserve it. It's because when the Wood Brothers running well, NASCAR's in a great spot. So I wish you, Josh Berry, and that entire Wood Brothers team the best of luck this year. Appreciate you coming on. Would love
Yes,
to have
sir.
you back in.
Yeah,
Got any parting words for your buddy?
I will.
I've
keep
kept
up
it
with you on
clean
the
with
plane.
you. I've been.
He's pretty rough with me on the
Everybody's
plane.
gonna be mad at me for not like really just laying it to
I would
you.
say that we do need. I think that you have a unique perspective. Seriously, I know we joke around a lot, but I think that getting your view of the sport for the fans, if we could do it more often, is great because
until somebody else that's more famous walks
until
up.
somebody,
and then
somebody that's a little bit probably better with their words to
Right.
come. But yeah.
Well, you're invited back.
We'll use you as long as there's nobody better that's available.
Right. That's what Bubba said. Yeah, you just couldn't get Larson last week. I said, actually, yeah. He was
I
first
totally
spot.
believe you though. Like, I mean, you're telling the truth. They don't know that. They don't know the skip, but I do.
Jon Wood, thanks for coming by. Noncents Garage and Stacking Pennies. More coming up right after this. And we're back. Time for some pit road boats and woes, several woes. Now, Martinsville's a place anymore where you don't get a lot of natural cautions. This was a bit of an anomaly. We saw some yellows come out. We saw some debris cautions. We saw some guys stall and whatnot. So it did re-rack it. But generally, your nuggets and your pennies and your details of spots gained or lost are now on pit road, which is a perfect segue for some pit road boats and woes. We've had some contact type pit road. First queue up, 23 and the 21 making contact on pit road here. This is start of the corner. Guys blend in. The 23 has nowhere to go but to just drive right in his door.
Yeah. So dude, it's like I don't know what Nam was like, but this pit road has got to be something of that because it's a battlefield down there, and you're almost like with the next gen car, it's changed so much because there used to only be 12 to 15 cars on the lead lap, so it was kind of a non-issue that you didn't really see. Now with every car on the lead lap all day, pit road is so congested, and you are here with the pit road being slow. There was a time where the 42 we were running fifth, and the 42 was like last, and we were done with our pit stop and left before they even pitted.
Yeah.
So most of the time, everybody's at like a regular mile and a half. Everybody's kind of on and off pit road at the same time, or you block each other in. But like here, man, pit road's so long. It takes so long to get to your box that everybody's like in a different spot in their pit stop and in their track position and where you're pitted on top of each other, that it makes it really sketchy. Like when you go back and watch Josh Berry leaving, he's right on top of the 10 guys. And he's like, you see how close he was to the rear changer, right? Mm-hmm. He was just getting there. And then when you see the 23 leave, he's got to make a hard turn and almost gets knocked back into the 4 guys that are on the right side of the car. So it's a very dangerous place where you have to kind of have your head on a swivel. But it's twofold because you have to have your head on a swivel and not get run over. But if you don't 1,000% focus on exactly what you're doing with tight fender openings, low jack stops, and where your car is, if you're worried about somebody else, you're not going to do a good job. So it is the most challenging place, I think, to pit right now in the series.
Well, and we talked about Bubba and his new relationship with Charles DeNike, his first Cup crew chiefing experience at Martinsville. Tight pit road, so I'm sure Charles was probably clearing him one lane out, and Bubba's he can only see out of his windshield, so he's trying to not hit the guys in front of him. He pulls out, and inherently the 21 car's there. When I saw that, I'm like, ooh, that right front toe is super sensitive. So if it knocked that right front toe in, that could have been the end of his day, or at least knocked some handling out of that car. Was not the case, because Bubba had a career day in all measurables in Martinsville.
He's having a career day everywhere he goes.
Dude, it is awesome to
Stack
see that
Pennies
team.
bump, dude.
Stack and Pennies bump. I'll tell you, it's not that. It is getting the right people around them to get the best potential. So it's funny how that works. It's just one little knob turn. It can get the potential out of that. And it's nice to see Bubba and that 23 team really and truly outrunning the 45 the last couple of weeks. That's not something we expect to see.
Yeah, next one here, that's good for them. Next one here is the 41.
Trying to get in those box, log jam. Oh, boy.
Oh, man.
Just what you said about people leaving their boxes.
Yeah, so he's coming leaving in. As he's coming in. It's like, whoa. 19, oh, boy.
And he was trying to gas up to get around him.
And he gets put in a bad spot. See, like, this is where you get an Indy situation like the 48 guys. You're looking down at your lights, you boom, boom, hit, and then you hit those guys on the right side.
Mm-hmm.
This is
better get that right front tire in the box.
It's a hell of a place. So I talked to Dustin Long this weekend before the race from NBC, and he was asking me about just the dangers of pit road, and he was asking me about the situation last week in Homestead, which Homestead's another really tight pit road, but pit road speed's faster. And when the 22 and the 21 spin out, looked at it here, but what I told him is, yes, it's dangerous, but like the safeguards that we have put in pit road, speed, helmets, Nomex, the jump lines, everything that we've done on pit road, there's a reason why when you see these ticky-tack, they call them ticky-tack calls made, there's a reason that they're being called, and it's to keep people safe when situations like this happen, right? If something like that happens and they're doing 50 miles an hour, people are going to get hurt, injured, maybe even killed, right? God forbid. But at 35, it changes. There's some thought that goes into this. It's not just a rule so you get busted for speeding. It is a safety thing, and there are safeguards put in place for that reason, and this is why, and they're working. So next one says the 48 team has a loose wheel. I didn't see any of this yet. This is first time watching all of it. Comes in right side.
Not talking about this for a second. Is this a dumb rule that regardless of lap down cars or not, a little hesitation there to left or tight? I don't know. Let me pin that thought in a second.
So he backed up. Looked like is it his name Danny Tasser, the front changer? He if you go back, he comes in, hits the left front. If there's a little bit of the camber's really tight here, the fender's really tight. So if the carrier scrubbed the fender or didn't get back right away, sometimes you have to stay on it to chug it up. The jackman turns and looks, he's still on it. Did they have to repit for this? Was it a loose one? So they had to repit for this. They didn't feel good about it when they watched it. Sometimes the left front with the camber will suck it up and you can tighten it when it's on the ground, but obviously they did not feel good on this. There's a couple cars that had to back up. At least though that was
issues. Under yellow. They had the chance to tighten it up. SVG not so lucky. This actually messed up a cycle. He was on the front side of the cycle. Goes into 3. Oh.
I think about this quite a bit now, and it's got to go into your thought process as a crew chief, because when you are running at Martinsville, anywhere really, right, and you inherently see the risk and the reward, Martinsville is a place where when you pit, you're going to lose a lap or two under green. You're probably going to lose 2 laps under green.
Mm-hmm.
So if something like this happens and you pitted, you're boned.
Screwed.
So this is a place where if I was a crew chief, would
go
long most of the time and let it cycle through, because something like this happens, I would say probably 40% of the time.
Yeah.
Where a green flag stop, then you have it's so much different. You have the probability of a wheel falling off after a green flag stop is way higher than it ever was in a 5-lug stop, right? So if you're being bullish and you pit early to get the advantage on tires, and that does happen, then you could ruin the rest of your race. Now there's other places where...
if you're willing to accept the risk, there's a bit of a reward that comes along with it.
You got to weigh them. You got to weigh them out.
Right.
But this is a unique thing with the next-gen car that is a newer issue, and it's gotten worse as teams have gone faster. You've seen more wheels probably fall off in this year at this point in time than we did the first year that we raced it, because everybody was more conservative, didn't know what you needed. Now everybody kind of toes that line, and they toe that line too close. So I
had a thought. You talk about the jump lines. Talk about we keep taking. Went from 7. Now is at 5. Men over the wall for a pit stop. Could hypothetically, I'm thinking out loud here. What if when caution comes out, tight pit roads, Indies, Gateways, Homesteads, Martinsville. Could you just pit the top 20? First time by, second 20, second time by, regardless of lead lap or not?
Probably, but yeah, I mean, probably. The stuff you see on the track where there's no give and take, there's no give and take on pit road either, right? So
sure.
it just goes to how much are you going to take, how much you're going to take, how much you're going to take, right? So I don't know. You could, like we had this conversation earlier with Jon Wood. I'm on the side of the fence of less government on this type of stuff, right? I want NASCAR to be less governed. I do think that, like Indy, after Zach Price got hit a couple of years ago, I think you were in that stack up at the end of pit road. Zach's our rear changer now, but I think after that there's been more safeguards. They've slowed pit road speed down even more.
I think
Homestead.
My opinion is this, because the pit stop time has gotten significantly faster. You're talking about 8 6s to 9 flats for a good one. Inherently, that's going to make normally, if it was a 12-second stop, you're going to be in your box when the guy that's 27th on the lead lap comes in his box in front of you. Now that's not the case. Now you got a 4-second faster pit stop. I think that
but if
there
you
needs to be
qualify
another
on the pole, right? That's why qualifying is so much more important now.
For sure.
Okay, so if you have an issue on pit road, right,
Yeah.
and you have a 20-second stop, now you just go back to 20th. You don't go back to 40th.
Yeah.
So that's like
I think
that's where your arguments come.
That also sets a bit of a benchmark in the race. Hey man, get to the top 20. If you get to the top 20, then you get to pit the first time by.
Yeah.
Then you might be able to get some spots.
It's only pertinent to 4 tracks, but
That's
you
right.
could do that everywhere too. But yeah, I don't know.
I think there's the obvious pit roads where there's always issues and always tight quarters. I think there could be another evolution of safety introduced.
I don't disagree with that, but I don't know. Like, I'm not on the side of making rules, right? I'm very much on the side of being a competitor, especially when it comes to pit road.
For sure.
So, like, I don't waste any energy on thinking about what rules should be. I just take the rules, understand them, and go to try to apply them to the best of my ability that weekend to be the best. So, like, any energy I spend, like, trying to think about, oh, we should do this energy that I'm not spending on trying to be better
you're not
at
the
what
one.
I'm
You're
doing.
not the
And
one
this
that
weekend, I didn't have a great weekend, so I'm focused on pulling left fronts this week is what I'm focused on.
No, I think the evolution of the car, people are closer. There's more people coming down on the lead lap. The pit stops are faster, so the transition times of guys coming in and out of their box is tighter than it ever has been.
Yeah.
I could make a legitimate pitch that it wouldn't be a bad idea to break them up 20 and 20.
It wouldn't be. I agree with that. I could agree
if you're
with
running
that.
24th,
I could see an argument for that, is what I'll say.
and also it change up somebody's strategy potentially of taking 2. You can't go from 24th to taking 2. Now maybe that takes a little bit of strategy out of it. Who knows, right? There's all these things that people smarter than me can figure out. But I don't want to see somebody get hit on pit road, and that's the only that's the only area anymore where somebody can get severely hurt.
Yeah, it also, there's a lot of, we could talk about this till we're blue in the face, but then you know, okay, so if you're in the top 20, you're in a little bit of a disadvantage, right? Because you know what the top 20 did. Now you come in, some of those guys did too. We're going to do 4. We're going to be the first one. Like there's a lot of differences. But anyway, one thing that cannot be argued upon is this week's Dogs of the Week. And they've arguably been the best team of the season. It's the 11 car. They win the race. P1 on pit road. They've been P1 like 2 of the last 3 weeks. Arguably, they think they were P1 last week, but the numbers I see say that they were 100th off of the 23 car. Nonetheless, these guys are the hottest team of the year, and they started out the same way last year. So, Joel Bugnon, the Jackman, you can stop trolling me on the internet because you are this week's Dogs of the Week's the 11 car. So, Joel's the Jackman, Devin Euchre, rear changer. Dylan Dow, one of the greatest guys in the sport. Not talked about enough how great some of these guys are. He's the tire carrier. He's an absolute dog. Austin Maloney, he got the call this offseason. He was supposed to be on the 4 car. A.J. Rossini got injured. He comes out. Austin jumps in. Like I said, fastest team in the sport right now. So that shows the depth of the Gibbs organization. And Kenneth Purcell, he's been around a long time. He's the fueler. So these guys have been lighting it up. Great start to the year. And shout out to their leader, Chris Gale, man. One of the best guys in the garage. And good to see them get a win. Seems to be it's them against the world.
I mean, they made flags against us, so it must be true.
Must be.
Denny's, as strong as he's run there, it was surprising to me to hear that he hasn't won in a decade. Since 2015 there at Martinsville. He's always in the mix. Would that have been – he didn't win the race where he dumped Chase, what did he?
No. Remember when I was thinking about that this weekend because we were kind of in that pit stall where that guy was like, you're just a old grumpy veteran. Remember that guy was yelling him on pit road, and Denny just looked around like where's the security guard?
Yeah.
You're just a mean veteran. That's what you are now.
Picking on kids. He's just
Pull
a
the
kid.
tape, Higgy. I'm sure he's got
He's
it.
just a boy.
Oh, that was so funny.
That's Denny's 6th win in Martinsville, so 6 clocks in his house, and his 55th career win, tying Rusty Wallace.
Now,
Coincidentally,
status-
both of their 55th were at Martinsville. That was also
Rusty's
Rusty's
last win. I saw
Rusty's
that stat.
last
People
win.
are like, could this be Denny's last win?
This is not Denny's last win.
You never know when your last one's coming,
You
buddy.
never know. If somebody gave you an envelope of when the date with your last one is, would you read it?
Throw it out, because
Throw
I'm
it
never going to quit winning.
That's right.
Just throw it right out. That's what I'd say. A couple shout-outs this weekend, man. So Austin Hill wins the just a thrill over an Xfinity race. Daniel Hemrick.
Hey,
Daniel
I was
Hemrick
catching
can't
strays
run,
on Twitter.
He can't run to first base in the Kickball Classic, but he can do a backflip off the roof of a truck.
I called him on Saturday. I said, I think you've been bull.
Yeah, I think so too.
He's like, why? I said, because you're just my first base coach. You can't play kickball, but yeah, you can jump off, do a backflip off the roof of a truck. And he says, man, vertically it's fine. Anything laterally, it'll pop right out. My man doesn't have an ACL or an MCL in his knee. Love to see it. I was catching strays on Twitter though. There was just a bunch of nerds on there that were real fired up.
What were they saying to you?
This should have been you. Should have been you. Sure, it could have been, but it wasn't.
It wasn't.
Actually, I'm laying there and I was asleep actually, and I kind of woke up to Daniel's interview and I was like, oh, nice. And really and truly, I was going over there because Charles Tonight was over there. Known Charles for a long time, think very highly of him as a crew chief and a person. And when I talked to him and he told me he was going to go to 2311 mid to late summer, I was like, doesn't feel right.
Nope.
I don't feel like that's the right move for me. And I feel like the work I'm doing now is going to set me and my kids up for the rest of my life. That's the goal right now.
Yeah.
But congrats to Daniel. Love to see it. I think they're going to have a lot of success this year. Hopefully they can make a playoff run. Be cool to see Daniel be a truck and an Xfinity Series champ against all odds.
Also, Ryan Preece, speaking of against all odds, Ryan Preece he's been just fighting the good fight, and it's good to see his third consecutive top 10 in the 60 car. I think that's a guy we all cheer for. We all pull for. He was in here earlier this year, and he's up to 14th in the driver points. It's going to be interesting. You start seeing the playoff picture, playoff bubble come up, and
start separating the wheat from the chaff.
Another guy, he didn't run up front this week, but
also I can't harp on enough, and this is just something that continues to be so apparent that you are only as good as the system and the people that you're around.
Yeah, but you can make the system and people around you better if they let you. So it's a team for a reason, and everybody's got to be part of the team. Seems like Brad is pulling that rope and bringing those guys together. Priest came to my shop last week to pick up a race car, and I was like, "Hey, can you grab this thing on Wednesday?" He's like, "I can't. I got to go on a bike ride, like a team building bike ride." And I was like, "A bike ride?" He's like, "Yeah, we're doing a bunch of team building stuff. I haven't ridden a bike since I was like 16." I was like, "Good luck with that."
Throw some training wheels on that unit.
Another guy's been running up front this year. I don't know how he did this weekend, but I've been seeing him pop up front is the 16 car. So shout out to AJ Allmendinger and those guys. And 10 was fast this week.
Even Tyrone Dillon was up there giving his brother all he wanted to.
Todd
yesterday.
Gilliland's been faster. The front row stuff. So it's been interesting, man. It's been very competitive season so far.
Yes, it has.
You got any penny stackers?
I don't have any stackers.
Ray Thomas from North Italia, right there in Birkdale the other day.
What'd he do?
Shout out to him. He said, "Hey man, listen to the podcast." So it was cool to get to just. It's always cool when people stop us and talk about the podcast. Even walking out yesterday, leaving the racetrack and walking into the racetrack at Martinsville, kind of walking through the traffic. Got a lot of penny stackers.
Hey, shout out.
Hey man, I was in no mood because I didn't have a great last pit stop. But always take time, and it was cool.
So I apologize for him if you blew him off.
I did not blow anybody off. I talked to
the
everybody. I was in a good mood with everybody we talked to, but I was having a rough time.
Did you have any dogs?
Inside, not outside.
Did you have
no
any
dogs. I tell you, I don't eat the hot dogs there. I don't really ever eat a hot dog. I'm definitely not gonna eat one of those.
What do you mean? It's the dog. So I drove up there Sunday morning just to shake some hands, kiss some babies.
You drove up there to eat 6 hot dogs. That's all you did.
1,000%. And I tell you, it rings truer and truer. They go down so smooth.
Not doing it.
You get a bag of 4. I gave one to Tommy Ball when he was in the line. I walked up, grabbed a bag, gave him one. They went down like puffs. And then grab another bag for the road, put those guys down. I was right where I wanted to be. Catch me on the Twitter here shortly, too. Yeah. That's right where I don't want to be.
This leads us to our first Penny for Your Thoughts question. Man, this is a good one. Kyle Nogle, 15. He's always got good questions. Richard versus Dale versus Jimmy. Who wins a Martinsville hot dog eating contest? I know the answer to this.
Do you?
Yeah. It's got to be Richard Petty.
Just the king? What do you think? My man, because he looked like Richard has looked the same since like 1985. And I think that he's probably just like a bottomless pit. He's like the Kobayashi of Martinsville hot dogs.
I think Richard Petty's winning. I think Dale Senior would be like, "This is stupid," and I think Jimmy's too bougie for that.
He is. He's
Jimmy's
like, give me a chopped salad.
Yeah, give me a
Legacy
chai tea latte. So I think Richard Petty, man,
the king.
he did that and a couple Goodies headache powders. He'll be good to go.
Dude, I was on my first ever time in Martinsville when I was a Richard Petty development driver, quote unquote. You know, you go there and you got the headset on, you just wearing the polo shirt like you feel like you're somebody, and I'm listening, and it's me, Dale Inman, and Richard Petty up on the top of the hauler. Richard had to go through. It was about every 25 laps he was putting down Goodies headache powder. I was like, whew, buddy, no wonder why you look so good. Just living off
Putting that sponsor to work.
living off of Goodies headache powders.
I don't know this next question. TK
Runner 1738. Can Flores explain his wall shimmy? It looked like a batter stepping into the box. What do you got, a little shimmy?
I don't know. I guess Higgy might have to pull that up.
Is that picture over there above next to Jimmy Little?
Yeah,
where you doing a shimmy
I'll,
there?
I'll like move my feet on the wall a little bit, and then I'll always hit my button, because the very last thing you want to do
Just tighten her up.
is make sure that you're going the right way. And the buttons are big on them, so you could potentially be going the wrong way. So I'll hit it, and it's kind of, I don't know if it's a nervous tick, but that's just kind of your checks and balances that you do before a pit stop.
That's right.
I'll run you through what I do. Cars on pit road, turn the camera on. 10 away, put the shield down. Hit the button once or twice, get your feet ready, jump off the wall. That's it. That's what I get. You get one movie car for a lap around the Nürburgring. What car are you picking? That's from Tim Trail Guy.
All right, this is the type of stack and pan.
Time Trial Guy. Not Tim Trail Guy.
Time trial guy.
Time Trial Guy.
You get one movie car. It wouldn't be like a stock car that's just with bad brakes, and it would be something that has like paddle shifters and a ton of downforce and something to be fun to drive. When I think of cool cars, I think like Ayrton Senna's Marlboro McLaren.
Yeah, that's where I was going.
The Honda.
I don't know if I think I want a paddle shifter, and I don't think I want this. I was looking at the old F1 car like from the 70s that they had at Penske, and the shifter, I don't know how they did it.
Real men. 1870 off-road. How do you put respect back in the garage without throwing punches? You don't.
We talked about that earlier. I don't even know if throwing punches will do it.
No,
I just don't.
It's gone.
Unfortunately.
It's gone forever.
Big weekend this weekend. We're going down to Bradenton to the
Freedom 500 as we talk to Cleetus, man. Follow along on baldeagle.com. I'm excited about that. It's going to be fun. Hopefully we can drive back brand new Z06 C8 Corvette. That would be so sweet.
Hell yeah. And then Darlington, man. Throwback race. We are going to break down the burnout from this weekend and spare change. We're going to break down Darlington, everything you're going to see there, and we're going to do some paint scheme rating
for the best race of the year.
The throwback race.
Goodyear 400 throwback race, and some flops and some hits.
NASCAR Halloween, baby.
Mm-hmm.
NASCAR race car Halloween. We'll see who has the best, who has the worst. Tune in on Thursday.
That's right. But real quick, buckle up, because Cleetus McFarland himself is going to jump on here, break down his NASCAR plans. He's running a couple more NASCAR races, and his big race, the Freedom 500, coming up Friday. Let's just go ahead and talk to him. Let's get him on the show. All right, guys, we're back with another big guest on the show this week. Big week coming up. Down to the Freedom Factory, the Freedom 500.
Yes,
that Ryan and I will be making the trip down to Bradenton, Florida, to race alongside you, sir. Mr. Cleetus McFarland joins Stag and Pennies. Welcome to the show.
Yep. A lot of action this week, and you're racing, brother. You excited?
Well,
you nervous?
A combination of everything. A little nervous because I don't know what to expect. I mean, your backdrop right now is a bit intimidating with the Intimidator with a sculpted wood pit stop. Where'd you get that thing?
I got it from a fan of our show. They just know I like to do it for Dale, so they brought out this like pretty incredible pit stop shot wooden.
Can we hey
know
Garrett,
what to
can we
tell you.
sweeten the pot? Can we sweeten the pot? Because I know that you bought a conversion van and a C8 Corvette, which, by the way, C8s are my favorite car on the road. That's a nasty Z06, by the way.
Z06, brother.
I know.
Come on.
I'm definitely going down there making the trip to go try to drive that thing home. Also, if we happen to win, I get that wooden sculpture.
Not a chance.
What if I kept just the wooden sculpture and let you keep both the conversion van and the Corvette?
That we could do.
All right, I'll think. We'll think about it. We'll think about it.
Yeah.
What
Now
what
you're
are
talking $100,000 that I could probably be
you
talking.
can swing it. You can swing it. I don't know. That thing could pull big money at a pawn shop. But nonetheless,
Yeah.
it's a big week this week. This is year what of the Freedom 500?
Number 6.
Wow. And it's not only been at your track, the Freedom Factory, but it's been at Bristol. And you've raced Rangers. You've raced all over the place.
Yeah, so the Freedom 500 exists only at the Freedom Factory, but we have hosted, we do the Indy 800 annually at Lucas Oil Raceway, and then we have,
Stafford.
what's the Stafford race called? Is it the Stafford 1000? I forget because I just make the numbers these ridiculous. It's the Bristol 1000, which we did twice. We haven't been back to Bristol. We didn't go back last year or this year. And then we have the 2.4 hours of Les Mullets, which is back at the Freedom Factory.
Bro, was it Bristol where there was a large wreck?
With
Is
the
that
Ranger. It launched it.
Well, yes, on both of those. We had 14 rollovers with the Rangers on dirt. 14 rollovers in 60 laps. They'll never let us do that again. That's for damn sure. Have you ever seen the photo of the Ranger like flying through the air?
Yes, that's the one I was talking
They almost
about.
hit. I mean, they hit the top. They basically almost hit the top of the fence at the mirror on the Ranger, and that was on lap 0. And then yes, we totaled 10 Crown Vics and I think 10 laps at Bristol.
Bristol
One
seems like a
crash.
good idea until you see something hit and you're like, oh, I never seen stuff been like that before. This is a way different place than I've ever been.
Yeah. So we actually, the first year at Bristol is when we had the big wad up, is when we changed the roll cages in all the cars. We went from a 4-point cage with a main hoop and 2 forward door bars to a triple door bar. I think it's 10-point cages now.
You guys build all of them yourselves?
Yep, we build them all right here in my shop.
You've got a pretty incredible thing going, man. Obviously a YouTube sensation, but you're also a track promoter of sorts, right? You're hosting these races.
Yeah.
You got your own streaming service. So we're coming down there this weekend or coming down there Friday. What should we expect down there in Bradenton?
Well, here's the deal. Anyone can watch the race on baldeagle.com. Okay, you go to baldeagle.com. It'll take you to the live streaming, our merch, or to the racetrack schedules, like if you're trying to go in person. So the baldeagle.com's got it all. What's happening this Friday is the annual Freedom 500, which is 100 laps, 27 Crown Vics, all equipped with nitrous and brand new Nitto tires. And they're driven by my friends, motorsports heroes, YouTubers, and just really anyone who's got a knack for driving that is cool. So
You're the reigning champ of this
really
event.
cool.
You're the reigning champ of this event. I've been doing my film study. A little bit of tire conservation.
Yeah, I have the most wins in the Freedom 500. I have 2 wins out of the 5. So
You were pumped up
but
last
I've
year.
never won another race. I've never won out of town. Only here.
Oh, home track advantage.
Yeah, I know.
But before you leave, I got 3 questions for you, like every other guest. You've drove a lot of different places. If you had to pick one type of car or race car to race at, one racetrack, where do you go?
Oh man, I would take a Cup car to Daytona.
Okay.
Maybe like the Gen 6 Cup car at Daytona would probably.
Okay.
'Cause
There
I
you
heard
go.
Those are bad to own. Actually, hold on. I'm gonna go back to like 2000. When did they have the wings? Was it 06?
Don't
COT.
Do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
You don't think?
No, either go back further or stay away. Anyone except that one.
Really, that's not a good one.
I think you go. I think
The
you
wing
go.
was a dark time for us, I think.
If we're going to help him make the decision, I think you go like 70s Superbird.
Oh yeah.
Oh no.
What?
I'm out on that.
He's out.
When was like the lap record set?
Back
Didn't
then?
someone go
Yeah,
like
that was-
230?
Kyle Yarborough, 1980 something.
88 was it?
Oh, was it that far back? All right, then I will go back that far.
Yeah.
Not the
right.
safest.
That's-
Definitely the fastest.
Which is what I'd want to do.
That is foul. They're just going like 210 in those things.
Yeah,
Just
in a 1987
mild
Monte
steel
Carlo.
cage, just foot to the ground.
aluminum seat, no headrest,
And and the open face helmet. with,
cigarette
like,
lighter in the
headlights.
dashboard.
It was insane. That would be cool to see.
That would be that's the era that Cleetus McFarland deserves to be in a NASCAR, like mid to late 80s.
That would have been cool.
What's your most embarrassing moment at the racetrack or on one of your videos?
Well, the first one that comes to mind is like I red lit in the finals one time with a guy that I had covered drag racing. There's almost no worse feeling than red lighting in finals. Like, I left early by like a couple thousandths. Oh, and then I've also missed gears in the stick car in the finals. And that's painful. It's painful. That's probably my most embarrassing driving moments there.
How many cars do you have? Not counting the Crown Vics.
Like channel cars?
Yeah, just cars you drive around.
Like that, yeah, in your personal collection that you would drive.
Oh, in my personal collection, I got my Raptor R, a 991 Turbo S, a C7, my wife's Tahoe, and that's like that's at my house.
Yeah.
But I mean, here at the shop, I probably got like 40 cars that are just random,
Yeah.
random stuff. And then we have 120 Crown Vics or something like that.
How many?
120, I think.
Do you get them at like auctions? Where do you get all these things?
Yep, state auctions.
Nice.
State auctions.
If you
I
had to
got a
get,
plug now.
He's got the plug on the old cop
got
cars.
the plug for the
Yeah,
car.
I don't go to the auctions anymore. I got a plug for it because people were running me up.
I know when you show up, business is booming.
Dude, I was getting in like auction battles, man. I had to back down.
Yeah. What would be like one exotic or like one dream car of yours?
Man, well, I mean, back to the Superbird. I have been saying on the channel for a while that I want a nice Superbird, but like exotic, I mean, I don't know. Like, obviously, the Bugatti Chiron SS is a good looking car, a lot of power.
I'd say.
But that's pretty like run of the mill decision there. A P1, black P1
McLaren
would do it for me. Yeah.
Okay.
All black, gloss black P1 is just a foul vehicle.
Yes, it is.
I like those.
And I could even say that a C8 Z06 all blacked out is kind of a poor man's P1, and I'm going to try to take that home on Friday.
Poor man's P1. Brother, I hope you get a good shot at it.
Me too.
I hope I'm up there with you to rub doors.
I
He'll
know.
wreck you, no doubt.
Did you see Sammy Smith?
I've
Did
been
you see
racing,
Sammy
short
Smith?
track racing him a long time. Nobody's safe.
No. Did you see
Last
Sammy
time I
Smith
went to
on
a short
Saturday?
track race, then we got in a fight at a legend car race in New Hampshire. Just so you know,
Yeah, it may or may not have been with like a 14-year-old.
could have been with the 14-year-old and his uncle.
Oh,
But-
man. You're gonna probably cringe at our pit crew thing though, just because it's like first come first
I'll
serve
do the
pit
pit crew
crew.
stuff, but I don't want to devalue myself. All right.
Well,
Like,
aren't you working?
what do you mean?
I mean, well, by the way, this would be the most premium pit crew you've ever been a part of. However, are you like going to be videoing our stuff, or do you want to get down there?
I mean, I'll
get
get
dirty.
that. I will do whatever. I'm not doing anything. I'm not videoing it. I'm not
Oh.
no, we're bringing Sean to video it.
Yeah,
I'm going as
So
a I'm going
we
as a
essentially
friend.
have like 2 full pit crews, and then it's first come first serve. So like if you come in at the wrong time, you could end up, the third guy, and you're just sitting there waiting.
I will be the pit crew coach. I will bring my full garb if you want, my helmet and everything.
Yes.
Under
Bring
the
it.
pretenses that if I do a good job, I get considered to drive this some one day, and I
Okay,
make
all right,
sure
yeah.
that Sean
That's-
puts together a
that's
video
good
of
trade.
it.
I got to see how you do. If I come in for a front left, I want to see what's up.
All right.
I want to see.
Well,
See some action.
also, if you come in for a front left and you didn't let me drive, we got to see how this works. I'm trying to barter here, but I will come in full pit crew garb. I didn't know you needed a pit crew for this.
Well, we have one. We always need more because it gets hectic. Like if there's a 3 or 4 car pileup,
Have any of them won the Daytona 500?
What's that?
Have any of them won the Daytona 500?
It would just be you.
Okay, that's good.
Just checking.
I'll bring my ring.
Bring your ring, bud.
Just flex on.
He said, "Bring your ring, bud. Bring your." All right.
Let's let this man. He's got 27 Crown Vics. Put a little extra love to mine, and we'll be down there Friday, buddy. I'm
27
excited.
and spares. So.
Do you let these guys tune on them at all, or no?
Do I let them what?
Tune on them at all?
No, you can't touch them. You can't touch anything. All you can do is cosmetics.
Love that.
Okay.
Good to know.
Yeah, it is. A lot to know. A lot to find out. But go to baldeagle.com to go follow along for the Freedom 500, ladies and gentlemen. Cleetus McFarland joining us on Stacking Pennies.
Great talking to you guys.
You too.
Thank you.
That's all we got, guys. We're going to land this bird. Appreciate your time. Whether you're watching on YouTube, listen to us on SiriusXM Channel 90 or on NASCAR Tubi channel or wherever you find your podcasts or even video on Spotify now. So we got a lot of great stuff going on. We're going to continue to bring you the content you know and love each and every week. Whether you give us a follow, 5 stars, even give us a review. We'd appreciate that too. Spare change this week. I'm excited about that. I'm excited about ranking burnouts and also ranking some throwback schemes. What do you got? Any closing thoughts?
Nope. Kitchen Darlington.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you're in Bradenton, come see us.
Yeah, come say hey to us at the Freedom 500. If not, we'll see you down there. Talk to you. Darlington, Goodyear 400. Throwback race, guys. It's going to be a good one. Thank you for stacking pennies with us. Have a great week. Goodbye.